What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, or if this is your first time, welcome. I'm Restless Mule, and we're going to talk about touring naked.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
If you look through my videos, you will see I have published a few videos from a trip I made to Arkansas, specifically to Eureka Springs, and I rode around the Ozarks. So from where I live to Eureka Springs was 380 miles. I ride a 2015 BMW R1200R. A lot of times people tend to think that if you're going to be touring that, well, you have to have a touring bike. You know, if you're going to be doing longer rides frequently, then yeah, a touring bike is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I know there are plenty of people that wonder if it's possible to tour on a naked bike. So if you just want the short answer of that, the short answer is yes.
You may go now.
Of course, there is not much wind protection. Now on my bike, it's not true naked at this point because I do have this windshield, windscreen, whatever you want to call it. But as you can see, it's not that big. I mean, my two hands together would be about the size of this windscreen. So it's not like it's doing a massive job of deflecting wind, but it does help some. Yes, I will readily acknowledge that you do get some fatigue over time from having to deal with the wind on a naked bike. But does that mean it's impossible? No, it's a matter of mindset. Or how much are you willing to put up with? Can you fight through it? I think you can.
You can do it!
Now, I wouldn't want to do a whole lot of mileage in a day on a naked bike. Power, yeah, I mean, obviously this is gonna depend on your specific bike, but yeah, I mean, there's plenty of naked bikes that have all the power you need for touring. Yeah, unless you just have something really small, I really don't think power is that big of an issue. The great thing about naked bikes is the way that they're tuned, it's usable power. So it's good for most situations.
Yeah.
Comfort, your riding position. I find it to be, you know, pretty comfortable for several hours, but I think the longest I've ever stayed on my bike, the longest ride was a little over 7 hours, and that was enough. I really, at that point, I was ready to get off the bike. It wasn't terrible, but I know sometimes I hear people discuss how comfortable their bike is. Like, oh, I rode 500 miles, or oh, I rode all day on my bike and felt like I could have ridden more. That hasn't really been my experience with my bike. It's comfortable, but it's not that comfortable.
It could be worse.
Luggage options. Obviously this is one that's subjective. Again, it goes back to depends on what your bike is. My particular bike, there's actually luggage options that I could buy from the manufacturer. I can buy bags that are specifically made for this bike. Now, I did not do that because of cost. When I was looking into it, the panniers for this bike were, I think together it was a little over $600, and that just seemed excessive to me. I mean, I bought this bike used, and I just, yeah, I wasn't gonna spend $600 on that. So I ended up buying some GV soft saddlebags, and I think that ran me $160. So, I mean, you tell me, $600 or $160? Yeah. And really the saddlebags I got worked just fine for me. I also bought a tank bag, and I went with also a GV because I have a top case. That's the other option. I bought the top case before I even had saddlebags because I'll use that just to run errands. It looks hideous, but it serves a purpose.
I too am a neat guy.
And it just is that much more space. So I'll do things like, you know, make a beer run with the top case. You'd be surprised how much beer you can fit in there. There's plenty of options out there for bikes that are just universal, that it's not model specific. Of course, another big component of the suitability of a bike for touring is, of course, fuel range. I don't necessarily say fuel mileage, more so fuel range, because I mean, you can get great fuel mileage, but if you have a tiny tank, then that's not really going to be that great. Now, of course, fuel range is another one that depends on one's bike. Yeah, my experience on my bike for touring, for, you know, a road trip, I could comfortably get about 170, maybe 180 miles on a tank of gas before the low fuel light would come on and tell me, you know, hey, you have 42 miles to empty.
I can get 70 miles to the gallon on this hog.
I know there are some other bikes, other naked bikes that have pretty poor fuel mileage and fuel range. I think the last thing that I would note would be suspension. You know, the suspension can have a major impact on how your bike feels. Some bikes are better than others, and just because the suspension isn't ideal doesn't mean that you can't tour. It just means you might want to take that into account and think about the fact that, okay, it's going to feel different and it's going to ride different. My bike has electronically adjustable suspension. When I started to make the ride home from my trip in Arkansas, I rode the first 100 miles and I was thinking,
what the hell is happening?
My bike feels weird, and just for whatever reason, dumb me, it took 100 miles for it to suddenly click. Then I looked at the suspension setting. I had it just set up for single rider because for the previous 2 days, you know, while I was there, I had all my, you know, I'd left my saddlebags and all that stuff in the hotel. There was no need to carry that around with me every day. So I had switched the suspension back to just solo rider mode. I switched the suspension setting to solo rider with luggage, and I'm telling you that was the difference. So now that I've said all that and been through this, I feel like I need to apologize, because it occurred to me that I think I lied to y'all in a recent video. A recent video I stated that I never set out with the thought that I'm going to make a video. That's a lie.
You lied to us?
Obviously from this, because when I left my house, I had in my head that I was going to make this video. So I apologize. I did not intentionally lie to y'all. It didn't occur to me. I didn't really think of it, because a lot of times I am so disorganized that I don't intend to make a video. But as I got to thinking about that, I also started remembering other times that I set out with the intention to make videos. So there's a lot of times, pull back the curtains a little bit here. I also have to confess, there are plenty of videos just sitting on my computer that I started editing and decided, yeah, I'm not gonna make that into a video. This is terrible.
It's true.
So please, forgive me. I apologize to all 6 of you that watch this. If you enjoyed this video or found it somewhat amusing in any way, please hit the like button. And if for some strange reason you believe that you might want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. I would love for you to subscribe, but if that's not your thing, I understand. I'm not going to force anybody or ask anybody to do something they don't want to do. But until the next time, thanks so much for watching, and have a good one.